I was thinking about BG because yesterday was kind of the finality of it, right? He retired a little while ago, a month or so ago. But yesterday there was like it's over, right? His career is over. And now
they're getting ready for the ring ceremony soon or something.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the 2025 Eagles are now beginning their process. But the 2024 Eagles, including Brandon Graham, that's over. And now we kind of look forward a little bit. But I kept thinking yesterday as we had all these great testimonials and interviews about Brandon Graham on the station from our show. I mean, really every show, right? Jeff Lurie and Howie last week and Doug Peterson and Sirianni and LaShawn McCoy with us and his former teammate, all these people. Mm-hmm. And Hugh, I just could come back to this. It's going to be really, really hard to replace Brandon Graham. And I know, and you might say this to me or someone might today, well, Joe, the Eagles have a lot of experience replacing some legends because they've done it a lot recently, right? They replaced J.C. Kelsey and they went to the Super Bowl. They replaced Fletcher Cox with Jalen Carter. I mean, the Eagles have been good at this, right? They prepare themselves. And from a player standpoint, I will say that Nolan Smith looks like he was drafted with the idea to replace Brandon. And I think, for physically and production-wise, he might be able to do that. But Hugh, there's more to just football than just production. I mean, you know this. You played it. It's a team sport. And I think about everything everyone said yesterday at Brandon Graham, the teammate he was, the person he was, the positivity he brought. It's going to be hard to replace him. And I don't think the Eagles have done enough this offseason to make me feel confident that they're ready right now. Eventually they'll do it. Eventually everyone moves on, teams move on, player. I just mean for right now, 2025, I'm looking at the play. He was still a good player last year, and the leader he was, and the fact that this is the youngest defense in the NFL. We were looking before the show at just all the names on the roster. Other than Zach Bond, who's 28, nobody's older than 26. I mean, it's a young.
That's pretty dope, though.
It's cool, but it's young. And Brandon Graham brought experience, and he brought leadership. And that, it does, as much as yesterday was awesome, it did, as I left last night, I was like, man, that guy's going to be tough to replace. 215-592-9494. Hugh, have they done enough this offseason to replace BG?
Well, I think when you ask that question, there was a lot, and I'm gonna have to long talk just a little bit because I think
we didn't get any long talking yesterday.
Yeah, we didn't. I think when I think of leadership, I think of the evolution of leadership and how it changes with every Eagles team. Now, you said something that resonated with me is the fact that this team is younger. Yes, because the old guard is gone. I think it started with Jason Kelsey leaving. You still got Lane there. Lane's not as vocal a leader, but he's still considered a leader.
Right.
I think leadership evolves and it changes with every Eagles football team and the guys that leave and the guys that step up. I heard something yesterday where these young Eagles players, when the new guys got drafted, they immediately reached out and they embraced the new guys. That, to me, is a form of leadership. Because a lot of times, I remember when I came to the NFL, when I went to the Jets, didn't get none of that. Didn't get none of that at all. Nobody called me and said, hey, buddy, welcome to the NFL. And, this is how we do things here. The fact that the guys from Georgia made it their business to call Samael, whatever, how you say it.
The linebacker?
The linebacker.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kyle. I started not to say his name, but I was like, hell, take a crack at it.
Yeah, what's the worst that happens?
But they reached out to him. Mm-hmm. And I know part of that is because it's 8 Georgia Bulldogs on the team. Yep. But still, I didn't have none of that. And that was something that resonated with me. I remember when I got drafted, it was just me. The only person from my school, Brandon Hayes, he played for Carolina, but we didn't communicate like that. We would talk every now and then. But to have 7 guys on a Super Bowl winning team that went to the same college that you went to.
It helps.
That is huge. And not only that, you have a connection to those guys. And not only that, you got a bunch of guys that have won and know what this city feels like to win in. And they want to keep that feeling going. So the legacy that BG left is intact. It's going to look different. It's not going to be as pristine as BG was. It just might not be because of some of the guys that are going to be, leaders or called on to be leaders, and people are going to not look at them the same way. BG's a one-of-a-kind individual, man. Like, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get exactly what he brought to the table as far as leadership is concerned, but you're going to get something similar. And I think that's where we have to evolve and embrace that, because it's not going to look like it did when BG was out there.
Well, that's true. And you know what? You said the word evolve. And some of these guys here that are very young, they may evolve into, quote unquote, the next BG. Sometimes it takes time, right? That what you are at 23 or 24, you're a different person and leader at 25, 26, 27. 215-592-9494. That is how you hop aboard. It kind of hit me yesterday as I drove home from the event, which there were so many people out. It was such an awesome night for WIP and for Eagles fans. I mean, for everyone was out there in Phoenixville.
Shout out to the bosses for putting that on, man.
It
that
was really cool.
Deal.
I think everyone did an incredible job here. And I mean, not just forget hosts. I mean, I'm talking about like the behind the scenes.
Yeah, everybody
here.
That works here, the sales department, the people that set everything up, man. I mean, that the stuff that they do, the fact that we had like the picture booth with the WIP, and we got to take pictures with folks.
We were doing a lot of pictures last night.
Yeah, little handsy.
Well, people are just excited.
Yeah, but it's like awkward man hugs. That's not comfortable.
Well, you know what?
Try not to be. You know what the worst was, because our boss Yad was standing there, Kyle, and dude wanted to take a picture, right?
With him or you?
No, with me. Mm-hmm. And so then he hugged. He didn't just hug me, dog. He gripped me underneath my waist in an embrace that made me feel like you should have bought me a drink before you grabbed me like that.
Vaseline,
you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, hold up, dog. We ain't that friendly. Like, we can take a picture, but you ain't got to get all up under, you know what I mean? You ain't got to all get up in my nooks.
Just hugging a beloved eagle.
You ain't got to get all up in my nooks and crannies like that,
well,
man.
I didn't do that, yeah.
And so, looking like it, I'm like, hey, I just, the awkward man hug thing, man, that's not my jam.
Here's what you got to do. When you go to events like this, you just got to know there's going to be 10 awkward man hugs.
And
check them off one by one, and then you move on.
But it's funny.
You move on.
I think there's a great balance between the two of us, because you are when we're out at events, you are so outgoing and you're a man hugger and you do all the other stuff, and I'm just kind of like, and I'm like, I'm trying to be more on the Joe Giglio pay, but it's
well, sometimes you're shy. It's all right.
A little shy.
Shy Douglas. All right, 215-592-94. Oh, aside from Shy Douglas, Brandon Graham leadership. Did the Eagles do enough this offseason to replace him? I don't think they did, especially when I look at, what did they really bring in on the defensive side in terms of veterans? Not just the rookie class. This is a good rookie class, and hopefully they turn out to be really good players. But like Azeez Ojulari and Josh Uche, I don't know the guys going to make the team.
I like Azeez Ojulari.
Me too.
I like Azeez.
But I don't think Uche going to make the team. This was a good player still. He produced, he helped, and he's a great leader. Let's hear Nick Sirianni yesterday talking to the afternoon show about what he's going to miss about BG.
I know BG off the field also had to be great for you to coach and have as a player of yours. How much are you going to miss having him out at practice every day to keep things lively and keep things going?
Yeah, if you're, I've said this, right? I've said if every company, every business, everybody needs a BG, because man, one of my favorite things to kind of explain to you guys how ready he was every single day is anytime we had pads on, right? Anytime we had pads on, if it was a Wednesday in the season or training camp, he's at that team meeting first thing in the morning with his pads on his lowers. He had his thigh pads in, he had his hip pads in, he had his knee pads in, he had his butt pad in. He had it all. I'm like, man, this guy's ready. I love this about him. He is ready to go. Like, don't be around him and not be ready to go. He's going to be ready to go. And, man, and that's just a quick story about that. But, like, he's always, you can't have a bad day around him. Like, he's always smiling. He's always, and on top of that, he's always bringing people up. He has a great sense about him of, hey, this guy's going through a hard time. Hey, this guy's, going through a struggle, and he's talked about it, right? I've been through that struggle. Let me help you, and let me tell you what helped me when I went through that. Like, what an example. What an example that he was for the entire building in that aspect.
See, that last thing Sirianni said, that was a great story, especially the pads and the meeting and being ready to go. But Hugh, that's the moment that I'm going to be looking for next year, when I think they're really going to be tested to see if they're ready to move on without him. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a tough moment, right? Every team has them, and no matter how great, the Eagles were a great team last year, and they had like 3 or 4 tough moments where it felt like this thing's teetering here a little bit. He was the ultimate positive person. I mean, like, he even joked about that with us yesterday, that's just who he was, and he couldn't help, but he was positive. There was always someone in that room that was like, it's going to be okay. Publicly, and I'm sure behind the scenes, it's going to be okay. We're going to be okay. I don't know who that is now. I mean, someone's got to step up and be that, because I think teams need that, Hugh, especially in a town like this where when things start sliding a little bit, it gets a little squirrely around here. People I get nervous. People like me get nervous. So I think the Eagles benefited from his super positivity in tough times. I don't know who that guy is now.
Well, I hate to be that guy today, but there's never, ever, ever going to be another BG. That's just how it is.
Yep.
Because of the way that the NFL is set up. I think, and this is no way in shape, form, trying to disparage what BG brought to the table. We know how phenomenal he is, but let's be realistic about the situation. He was Howie's first draft pick, right? Howie gave him multiple chances to prove it. In the NFL, Joe, you don't get those. It's a league that moves on quickly from players that they don't deem worthy or capable of fulfilling anything.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you go back, because I was listening to all the stories that were being told about BG yesterday. You know, there was some – I honestly believe for him to get to this point, there had to be some divine intervention. Had to be. No question about it. And I think that's a testament to his faith and the belief that Howie had in him. Howie, that was his first draft pick, so Howie's tethered to him. And it's one of those things, because I got to thinking about this yesterday. Howie was in the closet, and he was relegated to being like just a figurehead. He didn't have any real power. Chip took that, right?
All football power is gone, yeah.
And so, you know, you have that, and you have the perfect storm of Chip trying to trade away everybody. And think about that. You traded away Deshaun Jackson and LaShawn McCoy, two of your better players. Like two of your stalwart players, two of your Pro Bowl players.
And I know he wasn't as good then. And Nick Foles.
Yes.
Who was a better quarterback than the one they brought back.
And at the point where Chip tried to get rid of Brandon, that's when Jeffrey Lurie intervened. He said, you know what? This is enough. This is enough. And for whatever reason, Brandon was here and was able to thrive in this situation. So I think about that, man. And I'm like, man, you know, his faith. I think his faith had a lot to do with the reason why he is who he is, and that's what makes him a one-off. Like seriously, that's what makes Brandon a one-off, is because of that. Because I'm pretty sure when he was talking to his wife and his family members, he talked about that and how close it was for him to probably not be here and us not have the Super Bowl moment that we have.
And if he was in a different team, maybe he never gets that. Yeah.
So that brand of leadership and that testimonial that he has, only way you keep that kind of leadership around is if you put him upstairs and have guys that are on the team talk about his stories, like echo his accomplishments and his achievements over the years.
Yeah, man, maybe
ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody gonna be in a position to do that.
Well, maybe I'm fighting upstream then, because when I say I don't think they did enough, that maybe there was no way to replace him in a sense.
It's not.
215-592-9494. Did the Eagles do enough to replace Brandon Graham this offseason? Kyle, where did he come down? As yesterday was an awesome day for BG.
Yeah, I'm not as worried about it as you are, Joe. Like, this isn't a knock on Brandon Graham, or at least in terms of his play. He missed a huge chunk of the season last year on the defensive line. And you know what happened? The defensive line got better and better as the season went on. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Vic Fangio's there. They're under the tutelage of Vic Fangio. And I really just think they're a tight-knit group on defense. So it might not necessarily just be one guy that's stepping up and becoming like the big overall leader of the defense. But I think them as a group, I think they're a tight enough unit to where this thing isn't really going to kill them next year. So, I mean, like, they are all those Georgia guys. Jeffrey Lurie had talked about it yesterday, and we talk about it all the time. Like, the Eagles have intentionally built a culture on this team. Like, it's high-character guys. And Hugh said it, you said it. Brandon Graham is a one-of-a-kind guy. So you're not just going to one-for-one replace a Brandon Graham. You're not going to draft a guy who is the next Brandon Graham in this draft. But I think, like, a sum of all the parts will be good enough so that the Eagles are going to be able to get by next season without having a Brandon Graham on the team.
Well, I hope you're right. And the sum of the parts could be it, especially with the culture and the Georgia guys. 215-592-9494. That's how you hop aboard. Did the Eagles do enough this offseason to replace Brandon Graham? I mean, he is someone, and I agree with you and Kyle both on this, that you can't replace just a one-for-one, right? He's a very unique he was a unique player, and he's a unique person. That's hard to do. Just feels like they're so young on defense.
So they are.
I mean, they really. This is not even a debatable thing. Like, this is one of the youngest Eagles defenses I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I guess a situation I'll compare it to that you compared it to. When Jason Kelce left, we're all like, uh-oh, like, who's going to step up, be the next Jason Kelce? Sometimes when somebody in that position leaves, it does create a hole, but it also creates room for somebody to step up. Mm-hmm. Like, Jordan Mailata, I think, has stepped into that role that he might not have been able to previously because Jason Kelce was there.
And maybe it's someone we're not even talking about. Because, I don't know if I would have guessed Mailata a year ago, but now look how vocal he is. I mean, he does come across.
Like, it's an opportunity now, I think.
Yes. Well, that's true. And hopefully someone grabs it.